Welcome to Specialty Marketing Consultants, marketing you can do right now. The podcast with your host, Rod Harder.
Hello and welcome back to the Marketing You Can Do Right Now podcast. As always, I'm your host, Rod Harder. Often as entrepreneurs, business owners, and sales reps, we have our noses to the grindstone so much that we often overlook the low-hanging fruit that exists in and around our businesses and sales positions. Today, my guest and I are going to discuss some of the most effective and affordable ways to grow your business. You really want to pay attention to this podcast. And I can speak from experience here because I've made these mistakes. Today, my guest is Jamie Barkley. He's the Membership Director for the Daytona Regional Chamber of Commerce. Jamie and I have a great conversation about the many benefits to joining your local Chamber of Commerce. I spoke to Jamie on the phone the other day because we were both on the run. The information we shared together is priceless, so take a listen. It'll be worth your while. Welcome back to the Marketing You Can Do Right Now podcast. This is Rod Harder. And as you know, from time to time, I like to have a special guest join me on the podcast, talk about marketing, talk about ways to grow your business. And the gentleman I have this morning actually is somebody I've been trying to get on here for a long time. And we'll get into some of the information and details about why I was so interested in making that happen. But in the meantime, let me introduce everybody to Jamie Barkley. He is Membership Director for the Daytona Beach Regional Chamber of Commerce. And I want to welcome you, Jamie. Thank you for joining us this morning.
No problem, Rod. It's my pleasure. I'm sorry it couldn't happen sooner, but, timing is everything.
You're a busy guy, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you. We'll get into that in just a minute. But I can actually say, as I'm talking to you, it is a Chamber of Commerce morning. More than one way. Jamie and I are talking here in beautiful Daytona Beach. It is, wouldn't you say, the absolute perfect day?
Oh, I'm looking out my window now, and there's not a cloud in the sky. True Chamber of Commerce weather.
I've waited all my life to actually say it and talk to a Chamber of Commerce member director. So let's get first the overview of what your role is, why your Chamber of Commerce, the Regional Chamber of Commerce, is a little bit different than maybe a lot of people think. And then we'll get into the many benefits that a business owner or entrepreneur or salesperson might enjoy from being a part of their chamber.
My specific job, I'm the Membership Director here at the Chamber, and I work with everybody that may be coming in as a brand new member. I work with current members, and definitely we work with retaining our members because we want to retain the members that we bring in also. But one thing I love about my job is I love helping our members build relationships with the other members in our region. And as everybody knows, people like to do business with people that they like, know, and trust. So the quickest way to do that is to meet people that you've never met before, obviously, and then build those relationships that are so critical. And the one thing that does make us unique is we're the only regional chamber of commerce in the Volusia County region down here in Florida. And basically what that means is we cover from Palm Coast all the way down to Edgewater, Oak Hill, all the way out to DeLand. And within that area, it covers a lot of miles. And we're known as the voice for business in this region. Being the regional chamber, we've got a 52-person board, and it allows us to speak for businesses. It allows us to fight those tough issues that some of the businesses are going through here in our region, and we look forward to doing that on a daily basis.
And you do it well. I'm a perfect individual for what my perception of a chamber would be like. As a small business owner, I primarily work out of my office but don't interact as much as I probably should have in the local market. My clients are all over the country. Mm-hmm. And I was, by my own daughter and son-in-law, they said, you need to get out and meet your local fabric, the local business owners in the chamber. Well, I thought a chamber was more or less a monthly dinner event or a cocktail party. And while you do that, that's just a fraction of what goes on. And in 1 year,
I've met some wonderful people, both from a business and from a friendship standpoint. Can you talk just a little bit about all the various things that one can do if they decide to get engaged in their chamber?
I think that's one thing that's great about chamber business. Anywhere in the country, you can go to any chamber and you can grow your business exponentially through relationships. And one thing we really focus on is offering different things that have substance. And you're only one relationship away potentially from your next best client, or maybe your best client you've ever had. And I think that's the one thing that people miss when it comes to Chamber of Commerce work. It's like, oh, I got to become a member, and then every year I got to renew. They look at it, a lot of people look at it more as an expense than an investment in their business. And
Right.
I think that's the one thing I work with people on a daily basis. It's like, for example, let's say we have a speaker that's coming into town. It looks like a great program, but you might not be as passionate as you would about another topic. But one thing that every chamber does all across this country is provide opportunities, regardless of what the program is, for you to come and meet new people. And one thing I've always encouraged is come and get involved, meet the people. Because, there's times, I'll be honest, there's times I've wanted to not get up and go to an event. But those times,
Sure.
I've actually found that when I did get up, I did go, I met 2 or 3 great people that really allowed me not only to expand my business, but to be able to help them and to really build that new relationship that's so critical. So there's a host of opportunities that our chamber offers, but I really encourage, because I've been on the other side of the fence before. I've been the business owner, and I knew what I wanted from my chamber. So now coming in as a membership director to chamber, I've had the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. You do it well. You're always, I marvel at your schedule. I'm amazed at what you accomplish. And you just are all over the city for grand openings, ribbon cuttings, and evening events, formal events. What do you have, 4 leads groups? 4 or 5?
I have 5. We've actually got 5 that meet on a weekly basis.
Yeah, that's one of the ways that you and I met. And some
Absolutely.
of the things that have happened as a result of that for me personally in my business, it just keeps going and going and going.
Can I touch on that for a second, Rod? Can I touch on the leads group piece? Because, almost every chamber in the country has leads groups. And one thing we've really focused on here is we actually changed it from leads groups to regional business connection groups. Because one thing I was very passionate about when I came in here is it's not just about going to a meeting on a weekly basis and swapping business cards.
Right.
Because, we've all been there. We've all gone to those events. Let's swap business cards. Let's see what we can sell to each other. Where I really wanted to change the mantra, and so we went to regional business connection groups where the focus was more relationships than it was selling. It was encouraging people to take off the selling hat and put on the collaboration hat. And how can we help each other? How can we build our spheres of influence? Because everybody knows that you want to sell more of your widget. But what are you doing to build your sphere of influence? What are you doing, more importantly, to help others with that giving first mentality? Because, I've been doing this 2 years now, and the people that have focused on the giving first are the ones that are seeing the most success.
Right.
Not the takers, because you get the people that come in, they want to take. Let me sell you this. Let me sell you that.
Right.
They come in with the wrong mentality, and that's where I think. We've got over 130 plus of our members involved with our regional business connection groups, because we've really focused on the relationships first.
Yeah, and it shows from a personal standpoint. It has allowed me to become a good friend of yours and a compadre when it comes to business opportunities. You've invited me to speak to other groups within the chamber, and that has led to other opportunities for me. So you get out of it what you put in it. It's like a bank account. You have to make more deposits than you do withdrawals.
Dan, if I can do anything on this podcast today is to challenge people to think bigger. Think bigger than just throwing business cards around. Think about relationships. Think about, because those are relationships you potentially will have for the rest of your life. For example, you're in that Wednesday group that meets at Caribbean Jack's here in Daytona Beach. Yes, we have lunch together every single week. That's going to build some valuable relationships. And when you're talking to somebody that needs somebody's service within the group, you can actually say, you know what, I have lunch every week with this person. So I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that they're going to give you great service. They're going to take very good care of you. And they're absolutely the person you should do business with, because I do lunch with them every single week. And we've learned to trust each other and to really help each other. That goes a long way.
It does, and it goes against everything I thought a chamber was. And I'll be candid about it. I was resistant because I thought it was more show up, hand a few cards out, say a few words to each other, and you go your merry way. And if you're lucky, you get to meet somebody. But it is 180 degrees different from that. And it's everything you said and more. And I wish I had joined 10 years ago. So for anybody in Daytona or other parts of the country who might be on the fence or wondering how you can grow your business, don't think about this too long. Pull the trigger. There's an awkward, first couple of weeks, just like anything new. But once you get past that, you open up a world of opportunities and friendships.
Because, one of the biggest things chambers have to overcome, one of the biggest objections, honestly, is the good old boy network, the cliques.
Right.
And that's one thing that I think, because we've taken the focus and put it on relationships, it drops that persona of the good old boy network. It drops that clique feel, because now when someone comes into an event that's got 125 to 200 people at it, it's not like, oh my gosh, where do I start? They see those warm, fresh smiles in the room of people that they already know. So it just drops that guard and helps people to be so much more comfortable when they attend an event of that size.
I imagine you have one success story after the other with 5 leads, or tell me the name you're officially calling it now, collaboration.
We have
group?
5 regional business connection groups. Because again, we're a regional chamber, so we've got one group in New Smyrna Beach. We got a group in Port Orange. We've got 2 here in Daytona, and we have 1 in Ormond Beach. So we're covering the whole region and giving people that opportunity. The one thing that's great about it is it's actually driving more business than it typically would because of the relationship piece. And that's where the referrals come in. That's where now the return on investment. If I've bought a $330 membership at the chamber, and over the year that I've been a member, it's produced $20,000 in new business, obviously that's a no-brainer to somebody as far as return on investment.
Right. And while we're talking about the Daytona Beach area, this formula would apply anywhere in the country with any regional chamber of commerce. A membership will open doors you never thought possible. I think that's a fair statement, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. And honestly, if you take that mantra into any organization that you're a part of, it's a perfect recipe for success. I mean, it could be any organization that you're part of, any nonprofit, because, people typically get engaged because they want to bring exposure to their business. It's that old radio station, what's in it for me?
Right.
When people take on, that's that WIFM. It's so critical that if they can just apply a few simple things and take a little bit of a different approach, oh my gosh, it just grows exponentially.
Well, that dovetails into the type of marketing that I teach, that you provide not just content, but relevant content to people who want to do business with you, not just people that you think should be doing business with you. And if you align yourself with the people in your various chambers across the country that you're a good fit with, naturally things are going to happen. And I've lived it. I can say that I was one of the resistant ones And by golly, if I didn't come out and benefit immensely from it in many ways. And you know what, Jamie, I've only been a member a year, so where's that going to be in 2 or 3?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, what was the final piece for you that said, okay, I got to try this?
Well, it goes back to I am a writer and I consult with clients. My daughter and son-in-law just said, hey, you know, you used to be in public relations for Delta Airlines. That was your strength, and now you're doing just the opposite. Why don't you get out, dust yourself off, and get back into the local community and make yourself known? And I fought it and fought it and fought it, and finally I said, I'm going to give this a shot. And I would have never expected the results to be what they are, but I simply didn't give it a chance. So I had to be pushed. And that's what I hope you and I are doing today, is giving people a gentle nudge to get out of your comfort zone and give it a try.
You know, honestly, that's why I wanted to be on your podcast, is to encourage people to try something different. Because we all know the definition of insanity. If you keep doing the same thing over and over again, you're going to keep getting the same results.
Right. And it is lonely. For many small business owners and entrepreneurs and sales reps, you tend to spend a lot of time by yourself. If you're not with a client, you're in your office and you're working, and it sure does feel good to get among other people who share that same situation, and they become friends of yours. As you said, you collaborate, you give, and things start to happen. And it has done more for me than I ever would have thought. If you're a fence sitter out there, take the leap. Anytime you make a change in your life or your business, it's a little stressful, but give it a shot. I promise you'll never look back.
Yeah, change is hard. People resist change.
Right.
But I tell you, some people, you see them get stuck, and they get stuck and again, doing the same thing they've always done, and they're struggling to see the success that they want. They've got that dream of owning their own business, but then it's the things that bog you down and tie you up. I just can't encourage people enough to get out there, meet new people, and it's not like you've got to go crazy. I mean, our chamber, we don't sell engagement, coming to events. We want to help you build the relationships with the people you want to meet. I mean, I'll pick up the phone and facilitate an introduction. I'll drop an email. Hey, I've got a chamber member or a fellow chamber member that would love to meet you. I mean, that's probably the one thing I love about my job, is facilitating introductions for people, connecting the right people together, and then watching them run and run fast and making it relevant. And I think that's the one thing I enjoy most about my work, is if I can put two people together and they build a wonderful relationship, oh my gosh, that's phenomenal.
Yeah, and you do it, and you should be called the connector, because you do just that. You're the real deal. And going back to something you just said, what I really respect out of the regional chamber and how you do the membership work is you do just what you said. You tell people that there's a committee or there's an event. Sometimes you ask folks to get involved, but you don't hound anybody. You make it their call, and that's what I respect. And you can sort of cherry pick what you feel is a good fit for you. That's what's worked for me.
Well, I encourage that, because people can't be at everything.
Right.
And we don't expect them to be at everything. They have to cherry pick. They have to pick and choose, especially if you've got a mom and pop business that it's tough for them to leave their business, because then they don't have anybody to answer the phone or to run the business like they do. So they have to pick and choose what's best for them. So I like coaching them through that process too. And one thing about our chamber is we're the voice for business. We'll do the heavy tackling, heavy blocking, and the heavy lifting for the businesses. And as a regional chamber, we can do that and go after the issues that matter to the local businesses.
Well, listening to you talk about this, it sort of reminds me that I need to go up a notch, that I haven't taken full advantage of a lot of these opportunities. While I've taken advantage of many, you've just reminded me that I could get that much more involved and see that many more results. So that'll be my own challenge here over the next several months.
Good. I'm glad. I'm glad this conversation is rubbing off on you.
And I think it'll rub off on a lot of people. I think we need this, and I bet you there aren't many people around the country doing this type of a podcast with their chamber. Let's get the word out. You and I have talked about this before. We want
Absolutely.
Daytona Beach to be the best, most successful, large or small. Let's make it people and businesses profitable.
The great thing is we're experiencing so much growth. I mean, an article just came out that we're the fourth fastest growing region in the country. So, I mean, it's just phenomenal to see what's happening here, all the construction, what the Speedway has just finished, their $400 million project. Recently in the news, we've got Hard Rock coming back to our area. We thought we lost it at one time. It looks like they're back.
No kidding.
Yeah, so that's exciting. We've got one Daytona opening up with movie theaters, Bass Pro Shop. I mean, we've got a number of businesses coming in there. The Tanger Factory Outlet Mall just opened last Thanksgiving. We've got a new retirement community coming in, 55 plus, with Minto Homes, the Margaritaville brand. So there is a lot happening here in Volusia County. So the sky is the limit. It's just exciting to see because obviously a lot of places in our country are experiencing incredible growth.
Well, two things I'd like to talk about. We'll close on these if it's okay with you. If I don't put you on the spot, I'd love to have you back, and we do this on a fairly regular basis with updates and success stories and
sure, I'd love
get
to.
people motivated to get off that fence, as we said, and pull the trigger, get involved, and I promise you won't look back. I was one of those that said the same thing you're thinking about right now. The other thing I want to do is maybe have you talk about some of the success stories and the joint ventures and collaborations of things you've seen happen as a result of these groups that you oversee. And let's get people to understand that, like you said earlier in the call, you're just one handshake away.
And I think one of the biggest successes I've seen is people that are in similar industries that are coming together and collaborating so they can go in and offer almost a package of people to service somebody that has a need. Those industry-specific partnerships are fantastic. And when 3 or 4 people can get together and do those kinds of things, oh my gosh. For example, like insurance, payroll, I mean, when you get people like that working together, they can be a one-stop solution for somebody that has a need, and that's huge.
It really is. I just can't say enough about it. So as we close out here, Jamie, what's the best thing someone can do? Let's talk twofold. One, for the local business owner, sales rep, entrepreneur, how do they get started with the chamber here? And then I want you to add a couple of thoughts about what somebody can do that may live somewhere else in the country.
Yeah, as far as here, just feel free to have them reach out to me. I mean, anybody can give me a call at any time. My number here, 386-523-3680. I'd love to sit down and just have a cup of coffee with them. It's not going to be your standard sales pitch. It's going to be, hey, let's sit down. Let's talk about your business. Let's talk about some of the challenges that you have. Will we be a one-stop shop for everybody? No. We're not all things to all people. We don't expect to be. But I'm going to sit down and have a conversation because I've been a business owner before, and I know the struggles that they go through. So, again, I can wear both hats. It's going to be that, hey, let's just sit down and talk and see if it makes sense for you to get involved with our chamber. Obviously, 99.9% of the time it does. Very rare that it doesn't. As far as outside of the area, I would encourage somebody to pick up the phone and just call their local or regional chamber. I'm a firm believer, especially in our area, people should join their local chamber and people should join their regional chamber. They should be a member of both organizations. They're both very independent. You do have to join your local independently, pay a separate membership fee, and then the regional chamber has a separate membership fee. Again, it can only help your business. And if you really get it, oh my gosh, the sky is the limit. So
it really is.
My door is always open. And again, if it doesn't make sense, that's okay. We'll shake hands and, hey, that's a new relationship I've built.
There you go. Well, I'll put your contact information in the notes when people go to the podcast on various forums here. They'll be able to see the notes. They can click on your link. They don't even have to remember it. If it's okay with you, we'll do more of these here in the short term. I want to talk to you about your time management skills. Jamie, you are all over the place, and I think every business owner around the country can benefit from whatever you do to keep control over your day, because I know I always kid you that you're cloned. You're everywhere, and you get a lot done. So any business owner thinks they're busy, let's talk to Jamie the next time we're on the line here, and you'll find out what busy is.
I'd love to continue, like I said, the conversations.
Okay. Well,
one thing to close on for me is,
yeah.
for me, this isn't a job. For a lot of other membership directors, it's a job. It's a paycheck. For me, it's not. I'm extremely passionate about what I do, love what I do. So I come to work every day looking forward to what it brings next. So it's not again, yeah, I get paid. Obviously, that's important to support my family, but ultimately, my job brings me great joy, and I think that's probably one thing that motivates me the most.
And it shows. It really does show, Jamie, and pleasure to be a part of it. And I look forward to playing a bigger role here moving forward. Much of it is due to you.
Well, sounds great. Thank you so much, and I appreciate you having me on.
My pleasure, and we'll talk off the air here when we can do this again. I'll put out a little tickler to people so they can look forward to our next call, and we'll cover a lot of good subjects that any business owner or entrepreneur would love to know. Well,
sounds good. Thank you.
Have a great day. Absolutely, Jamie. Thank you again, and we'll talk soon. Bye-bye.
Have a great day.